We want to create every single Pokemon that currently exists, from Bulbasaur all the way up to Pecharunt, but with a simple twist. Every Pokemon is getting a new type or types determined by a spin on our wheel. First up, we have Bulbasaur, originally grass and poison type, now ghost and ice type. I'm using ZBrush to sculpt Bulbasaur. I did start him before I knew what type he was actually going to be, as the wheel I made wasn't finished being printed yet. So I began with a Bulbasaur shape to start off with. Once I got the types from the wheel, I could then start blocking him out with ghost and icy features. Firstly with some rough colours, turning his bulb into an icy spike, some droops to his mouth, and stretching his ears out. I gave him some icy toes and spots, followed by some eyes, eyebrows, and nostrils. I think I leaned in the ice type more than the ghost type with his design, but I'm pretty happy with how he came out in the end. After the initial block out, it was all just refining each part, adding details and cleaning up the shapes. Bulbasaur's new type will also carry through to Ivysaur and Venusaur, as I really wanted to keep Pokemon with evolution lines cohesive. But for example, when I later do Charmander, he starts as just the fire type, but once he fully evolves into Charizard, he gets the flying type as well, so he will get an extra spin later. The main thing that changed was his bulb. I didn't like just the spike, so I played around with some cubes and ended up changing it to the cubey ice shells you see now. When it comes to redesigning each Pokemon with its new type, I still want to keep the spirit of the original intact. Hopefully that comes across in my final design. Maybe this was a Bulbasaur that got lost on the ice path, froze to death, and became an icy ghost. I did a little bit of extra painting to solidify his design, adding some frosty blue to the mouth and feet, and finally posing him. After that, it was onto the 3D printing and painting.
So we've got two prints, one printed in grey resin and the other printed in parts with clear resin. First up, I'm going to sand these little guys and then apply a base coat of white. Now that our little guys are all sanded and smooth, it's time to start airbrushing. I definitely applied my anti-cancer mask before I started painting. Firstly, I'm applying a darker shade of purple all over his body and then moving in with a brighter, more saturated purple over the top, only in certain areas that I want them to pop. I then apply the same shades of purple to our other Bulbasaur so they look cohesive together. Now I'm painting the whites of their eyes. This required a couple of coats as white is really opaque. Moving on to the icy parts of our Bulbasaur, I firstly went in with this icy dark blue and spent a solid 3 hours dry brushing it, only to absolutely hate it. So then I painted it again, this time with more of a green blue. I then spent another 3 hours dry brushing it, only to hate it again. It wasn't until I painted his pupils with this lovely light blue that I realised it was the perfect shade of blue for his icy back. So naturally, I repainted him again and spent another solid 3 hours dry brushing him. Finally, I can say I'm happy with the result. Now I gave him a little manicure for his little toesies and a nice gummy smile. Now that I'm finally happy with our icy Bulbasaur, I can finally stop going insane and move on to our next little buddy. Then used the same blue and repainted the icy areas of our other Bulbasaur. Felt the bright purple didn't have enough coverage, so I moved in with a dry brush and gently applied some more to the areas that I felt were lacking. When it came to attaching his icy pieces, originally I was going to paint the underside of each piece and then glue them onto his body. But I felt it removed that icy foggy resin look, so I decided to paint the blue onto his body himself and then glue the resin piece on top. This still gave us that foggy, clear resin effect that we were after. I then applied that same light blue over the icy areas of his body. Usually I would fill in drainage holes with putty and allow it to set and dry, but today I opted for some handy dandy blue tack, shoved it in his holes, and then painted the blue over the top. This way it would hide the holes from showing through the resin, and it was a super quick fix considering how long I already spent on these little guys. Now I give our Bulbasaur another manicure and attach his lovely nails. Then I apply the blue to his back. Once all his bits and pieces were attached, I then moved on to gooping up their eyes with some UV Cure resin. I used a stick just to move the resin around their eyes to get an even coverage. Once our little guys finished catching their tans, their eyes had cured, and they were left with a beautiful wet shiny finish. Then all that's left is the beauty shots.
If you've made it here all the way to the end, thank you for watching and we really appreciate it. This is our first video, so we do hope you enjoyed it. And let us know which Pokemon you're excited to see get a respin. We're excited to see how Bulbasaur will evolve and for all the Pokemon we're going to make after him. And hopefully you are too. If you want to join us on this Pokemon journey and print them all for yourself, consider joining us on Patreon, where you can get all the models we make now and in the future. All of our links will be in the description below, and again, thanks for watching and we'll see you soon with Ivysaur.